Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic. I could not be any more grateful. It's Friday night, so if you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, I want to encourage you to come on down and hang out with a group of like-minded drunks and drug addicts all sitting around talking shop, how we got sober, and how we're planning on staying sober. It's the quickest hour in recovery. It's our Crosstalk Friday meeting tonight at 7 o'clock, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington. We'll see you there. Yesterday, I talked about that excitement and how other people in our lives will see the changes in us before we see them. Matter of fact, we think we're sucking at something, and other people are going, "Hey, no, you're doing good." And I specifically used the example of my kids and how I told my kids for years I want to get sober, and they say, okay, okay. And of course, absolutely, I'd fall off and I just want to get sober. And they got very discouraged. But once they started seeing me actually work in a program, they started seeing results and they started getting excited. Well, I saw my kids get excited. Well, shit, it made me get even more excited, right? Even more passionate. And that brings me to the point I want to talk about today. This is something that's been on my heart for the last week, actually, but just the way I have to organize content on here, I wasn't able to talk about it until today. Let me set the stage, though. Let's go back to when I was drinking at the pinnacle of my madness, if you will, the pinnacle of my alcoholism. My kids paid a price. My kids paid a terrible price. There were times that maybe I'd cut baseball practice short so I could go get my booze, or so I could hurry up and get home and drink. Maybe I'd skip out on a dance recital. Maybe my kids needed to go somewhere, and I'd already started drinking, and I didn't want to take them because I didn't want to drink and drive. Or maybe I just didn't want to leave my booze. My kids paid the price. My alcoholism took me away from my kids. As a matter of fact, by 2021, my alcoholism almost took me away from my kids permanently. So I come into the rooms and I start working a program. My kids, as I shared yesterday, they saw something different. They saw something happening, and it got them excited. They saw that, hey, maybe Dad really is getting sober now. Maybe whatever it is he's doing, it's working. And my son was about 12 to 13 years old at that time as I was getting sober. But he had a lot of questions. He's like, "Dad, why are you always gone? Why do you have to go to so many meetings? You went to 2 meetings this week. Why do you need to go to 1 tonight? Why are you doing all this volunteer work? Why are you going into a treatment facility? Why are you going here? Why?" And I would try to explain to a 12 or 13-year-old boy the importance of, me staying connected, me staying plugged in, me, performing service work. It was hard. I mean, again, he's 12, 13 years old. It was hard trying to convey those concepts to a child his age, and he just couldn't understand it. And I started thinking about it. He paid a price, and my son specifically, all my kids did. But they paid a price whenever I was drinking and I was in my madness. Now he's paying a price, but it's more of an investment. Again, I tried explaining that to him. Son, this isn't a one and done thing. I just can't go to one meeting and be magically cured. It doesn't work that way. And he finally resigned it to, okay, before Dad, I paid a price and Dad was fucked up. Now he would say, okay, I'm paying a price. Dad's still not here, but at least he's getting better. He saw something. He saw a return on his investment, right? And so that brings me to this day and age, today. Roughly about four or 5 weeks ago. As you guys know, me and my friends, we go into a treatment facility every Tuesday and Saturday. And Saturdays, the Saturday morning sessions are incredibly laid back, relaxed. I mean, it's like literally we just walk in and we just sit and bullshit with clients. We try to cycle in different peoples, different faces, that the clients, that way the clients get different perspectives and they can hopefully find something to relate to and hold on to. But it's always been somebody with a past, with a history of drug or alcohol addiction, and that we bring in. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had the idea, again, our goal is to connect and engage. Well, let me figure out a different type of connection to establish. And I went to the leadership of this treatment facility, and I posed an idea of bringing in my son. Let my son talk to these clients. And while I totally understood and appreciated the oh, wait a minute, this is a different story, I totally got it. They made it happen. They contacted their leadership, everyone else, and they said, okay, this sounds like a great idea. And so this past Saturday, me and my friends went in, and my son came along. Now, I had to bribe my son. In full transparency, I had to bribe my son. I had to pay him $25 and a meal from Chipotle, which he's now 16, by the way. So that meal, the Chipotle meal, just up my price for sure that I had to pay. But he goes in, and I told him, I said, when you walk in there and you sit down, whatever question they ask you, answer it honestly. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy or bashful. Whatever they ask you, you answer it. And man, boy, did they ask him questions. But you got to think about it. Here's my son who didn't understand, he didn't understand my addiction at the time. He didn't understand when I got clean and sober. He didn't understand me having to be gone, me having to be plugged in and connected to like-minded individuals. He didn't understand that, but he could at least see results. Well, now he's going in and he's getting to see the very thing that I'm doing. But more importantly, the clients, from the client's perspective, they're used to drunks and drug addicts coming in and talking to them. Now they get a different perspective. And boy, did they pepper him with questions. They lit him up with questions. And he did. He answered every single one of them. Truthfully, honestly, detailed. I remember sharing with him, I'm not your dad today. I'm a facilitator. You go in, you answer questions if they ask you questions. And not only with that, but my friends that I had in there with him, they were able to join in and share these were deeply rooted in emotional experiences that they were able to share as well. And I remember that whole Saturday, man. It was incredible. The clients, they were so appreciative for all of us coming in. They loved the feedback, and you could just tell they really got something out of it. But the important thing for me, and the personal thing for me, was whenever we left that facility, we got in my truck, my son and I got in my truck, he closed the door, I closed the door, and I said, "So, what'd you think?" And he looked right at me, he said, "I totally see how this helps people now. I'll never ask you again about going to meetings." So it was a win-win. One, it was a win for me because I got to stay sober on a Saturday morning, right? Two, it was a win for the clients because I'd say the vast majority of them all came up to us afterwards and said, "Hey, thank you guys so much for coming in. We got something out of this." And then three, it was a win for my son because he now understands what it is that we do when we go have meetings. Matter of fact, after we left that morning session, I took him to see his girlfriend, and they got to hang out and everything. And then on the way home that night, I said, "Hey, you want to stop by a meeting?" He said, "Yeah, I want to stop by a meeting." So we went to an actual AA meeting that night. So my son has an appreciation and an understanding now of what it is we do. Again, he's 16 years old. I understand he's older. But it was just such a blessing that I took a mess that I'd created for my son and my daughters and my whole family, my wife included. I took a mess, and because of a power greater than me, because of a willingness to start thinking different thoughts, just a simple little effort on my part changed the entire world for my kids, for my wife, for my family, and hopefully for many of you guys out there. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it into an email to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it and see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.